Welcome back. We're talking with Margie Roelands about where she lives and your friends. You can say hi to your friends out there.
Hi, everybody in Gamelia.
Gamelia.
I hear you call in all the time, so call in today. There you go.
We do it's a trading post. It's called Deal TV, and it's a live program where people can call in and list their items for sale. And I've had several people from Gamelia call in, so I know that we're getting out there.
Great.
So I thought that might have been you calling all those times.
I'm going to start calling them.
Please do.
And tell all my friends.
Great. What have you got to sell? Do you have wine to sell? That's a great segue. We could just go right into wine. Do you make wine?
I make wine. I produce olive oil, flavorings, and balsamic vinegars.
When did you make your first bottle of wine?
My very first bottle was made as a winemaker in 2004.
Mm-hmm. Was it a good bottle of wine, or did you say, we're going to have to do this again?
We're going to have to perfect this.
Well, considering I was actually in the process of making wine for 3 years prior to that. It was a pretty good bottle of wine by then. Yeah, it was my very first 100% Tempranillo, and that was the very first barrel that I made.
Well, what was the turning factor to say, I'm going to make wine? I mean, did you have a history, a family, or?
I do.
Okay.
My grandfather actually moved from Palermo, Sicily when he was about 19. And
okay, they're winemakers over there.
Absolutely. And the town they came from, Prizzi, known for making wine. So the Raimondos are very famous for making wine in that town.
So you have a leg up on everybody else, don't you?
Well, I have a little legacy anyways, yeah. Okay. So my grandfather was a first-generation winemaker for Raimondo, and then passed on that responsibility to my uncle, who took on the responsibility for about a decade. And now I'm the third-generation winemaker.
And has it always been in this location?
It has not. All of our wines are made from our vineyards in California, and all of the two winemakers prior to me reside in California. And so I started making wine I was trained in California as well, but then I moved and bought a resort in Arkansas on Lake Norfolk, and then I decided, I'm going back and forth making the wine for the family.
Okay.
Let's see what would happen if I started a winery here, and I started my winery in 2008 on Lake Norfolk. So very exciting.
Do you have an outlet store there? Or?
I do. I have a cellar, a tasting room. And I have I have my barrels there. I do the bottling there, the labeling. So full operation.
Do people ask you if your feet are purple?
I get that question all the time.
Do you really?
And I just giggle right along with them, and I tell them, don't worry, I do a pedicure before I do the winemaking.
Okay.
And so they're always happy about that.
People still do that, don't they? I mean,
or is that just kind of
old country, they still do that.
Do you want to believe that?
I've seen.
Then believe it.
I think I saw them on the. Yeah.
If you want to make wine that way, you can get into your bathtub and you can just do a little dance.
There you go, Dan.
Yeah. Well, I saw a Today Show thing where the weatherman was in there doing his. He was crushing wine up with
Sure.
Okay.
You'd be happy if you could crush it. You might like wine if you started crushing them in your bathtub.
Okay. Let's get a bunch of grapes and go at it.
We'll try that.
So how did you get hooked up with this wine tasting event in Eureka Springs?
I actually sell wine in Eureka Springs, and actually DeVito's is my very favorite restaurant in that town. I love Eureka Springs. It's definitely my destination that I love to run away to. But we've done wine pairings together several times, and that's been a very good partnership. And then I also sell in a couple liquor stores. So I'm always happy to promote the arts, and always happy to promote, of course, food and wine festivals.
Yeah, definitely.
So, yeah.
Well, and you don't do just wine. You do olive oil as well. Is that correct?
I do. I have a line of olive oils and balsamic vinegars, and I just introduced 2 weeks ago a line of some gourmet foods. So I'm really expanding.
You're branching out.
I am.
How tough is that, though, to compete with, I mean, you go to the wine section any liquor store, and it's pretty full.
It is.
You have to compete with those people or other competitors? How's that work?
Everybody has competitors.
Yeah, I guess so.
Raimondo Winery actually specializes in Italian and Iberian wines, which is pretty unique even for this country. I specialize in making special varietals from Italian types of grapes as well as Spanish and Portuguese. So that does set me apart a little bit. Also, another kind of different thing that I do as a winemaker is I don't add a lot of chemical sulfites, and in fact, I have 5 different wines now that I offer where I don't even actually use chemical yeast. I actually let them ferment using wild yeast. So it's, you know, it makes it kind of nice, and they tend to be a little bit on the little bit healthier side, and people like that if they're having allergy problems.
Yeah.
So that.
And I know the sulfites cause. I mean, sometimes people with allergies, it's problematic for them.
Yeah.
So
And even the yeast. Some people are sensitive to yeast, so this is kind of a nice thing that I offer. The olive oils and balsamic vinegars are quite unique for most wineries. Not something that is common. And I not only have just the extra virgin and the non-flavored balsamic vinegars, but I also flavor them. Like I'll have a blueberry, I have a Tuscan herb, I have lots of different things that I'm doing. It's a lot of fun.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Now, what are you going to be doing in Eureka Springs? Tell us about your involvement with that festival over there.
Yeah, well, I'm super excited about the very first part of the event because it is a first sip, and I'm so excited to partner with DeVito's on this. Periodically, what I do is I'll make a special blend, hang on to it for a little while, trying to look for the right opportunity to actually release it, and even to come up with the right name. So this wine, this will be the very first sip, Eureka Springs Food and Wine Festival, of a new blend. It's a very nice red blend, very bold. It'll be the first time anyone has seen the label.
So we won't know the name.
You won't know the name, and you also have not had the sip of this. So you have to come to this.
You're going to tell our viewers what the name of it is.
I am not.
Okay.
I can just tell you that I stomped the grapes. That's all I can tell you about it.
You've physically stomped your own grapes.
Yeah, well.
Well,
yeah.
Figuratively you did.
Figuratively, yes.
Yeah, okay.
But no, I'm excited about that. So this will be a first time to release any wine in Eureka Springs. So this is a great opportunity to do this.
And this will be at DeVito's?
It is.
And what time and day will that be?
This is the Wednesday event, and this starts at 4 o'clock and till 6 o'clock. Thank goodness. Yeah.
Right. How do you come up with different blends? What's your inspiration? How do you arrive at a different?
Most of my inspiration is I spend a month a year in Europe every winter, and I go around to a lot of different wineries and work with a lot of winemakers, and I do a lot of tasting. So a good part of my job is that I get to do a lot of tasting of wines.
Darn.
I know, it's a tough job. I always have lots of people who want to go with me for that. But I taste a lot of different wines, and I carry around a little notebook, and I'll keep notes and think about different flavor profiles and how the body of the wine is, and I'll come up with some ideas, and then I come back, and then I go to the lab, and I just kind of do some testing, and I come up with whatever I think is the right thing. And it's called a protocol. It's kind of like a recipe. So I'll keep track of that, and I'll come back with my little notebook after spending some time in Europe, and then I come back and say, well, this is what I really liked, or this is the combination of some things I really liked, and then I'll just start playing around in the lab. And then I'll come up with it. And usually most of the time I make the blend and then I name it. Once in a while I come up with a name, and then I try really hard to come up with the blend to match that. So it just depends. Yeah. So,
Now, will you be available, I'm sure, for people to talk to you about wines and at the event?
Yes, I will be there Wednesday and, of course, Sunday. Sundays are also another wonderful event. This will be the third time that we've actually had a food and wine pairing. And, of course, the DeVito's make fantastic Italian food, and they are very creative on the food and wine pairings. So we'll match up some good pairing with the foods and the wines, and it's a real special treat. Real limited space, so you definitely have to call and make reservations right away for that. But it's a real fun event. And we'll use many of the different wines. I actually have a new port. You're holding it in your hand right now. And so hopefully we'll get a chance to try that new port.
Crimson Kiss.
Crimson Kiss. So there's an example of where I wanted to come up with a creative name, something that would, be exciting, and a different label. So that's kind of fun. Cool. So that'll be fun. And then I'll be around for most of the week during that time. So hopefully I'll get a chance to meet other people as well. Answer any questions.
Sounds like a great event, and you're going to be there Wednesday and Sunday?
That's right. That's correct.
All right. For more information, you'll have some information at the end of the show if you want contact information, or you can go to the website to find out exactly what the schedule is. If I lost that email address at eurekaspringsfoodandwine.com. Very easy.
Now, do you have your own website as well?
I do, and I actually have the flyer posted on my website, which is www.raimondowinery.com. It's RAIMONDO.com. and or you can call for information at 870-467-5115.
All right.
Wonderful.
Margie, thanks a
Yes,
lot.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much.
Appreciate you.
Yes,
Come back sometime.
I will.
And
Thank
bring
you.
some more gifts. I like
I
these.
will.
I like
Yeah,
when
absolutely.
people bring our skips.
And I'll leave this for you because this is an almond sparkling wine, and
Oh.
you might really enjoy this. So
We
please.
will enjoy it here in a few minutes.
All right. Absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
Thank you so much, you guys.
All right, we're gonna take a break, and we're gonna switch gears and jump over to the other side of the studio here. We'll be talking with Chef Dave Gilderson from the Grand Tavern, and he's going to be doing a little cooking demo. I hope he's got something to eat because it's lunchtime, and I'm getting a little hungry over here. What was that word?
Cloistered.
Clustered?
Cloistered.
Cloistered. Oh, my Lord, I'm going to have to look that up. I'm going to use it for the next 2 weeks. I'm going to use it in every sentence.
You're not even going to know what it means.
I don't know what it means. We'll be right back.